Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Adita Karkera, Chief Data Officer for Deloitte's Government and Public Services. And today I have the privilege to have with me here Dr. Andrea Ramirez, who is the Chief Data Officer for All of Us Research Program at NIH. Andrea, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Andrea, as we dive into this conversation, it would be great for the audience to hear a little bit about your fantastic journey up till the point of you getting appointed as the CDO here. I know when you and I were doing our prep call, I was really fascinated with your very individual experiences. So would love for you to share a little bit more about it.
Sure, happy to. So, as the Chief Data Officer here at All of Us, I started as a physician scientist, trained in internal medicine and clinical pharmacology. And after that time, came to the NIH, where I trained in endocrinology, diabetes, and metabolism. At that time, I was working in precision medicine, and my background had always been in how genes could influence outcomes, genes and environment influence precision medicine. And as that grew, we really recognized the scope and scale of data and the role that data played. So, as I returned post training to Vanderbilt on the faculty at Vanderbilt University as a physician scientist, the funded award there for the All of Us research program was the Data and Research Center there. So, in my role as an extramural investigator, I led the data science team and contributed to building the initial data platforms for the All of Us research program. And then was very fortunate to come back and join the federal staff again as a federal employee, leading the strategy and vision from the coordinating center for data across the whole program. And that's kind of how we came to have the data office and the analytics office here at the NIH. So great to be here.
Yeah, Andrea, that's such an inspiring story. And I talked to several CDOs across, federal and the state government. And I always love to hear like, hey, how did you land up being a CDO? Right. And especially for our audience, there are, several aspiring data leaders, and people are often asking, like, how do you become a CDO? So I always love to hear your background and your background specifically as a physician scientist and now being the chief data officer is truly inspiring. So I hope the audience really gets to hear more about this in our upcoming conversation here and maybe in future episodes. Tell me a little bit, Andrea, about how the role of the CDO specifically fits into the broader picture, right? Each CDO role has slightly different roles and responsibilities, has a slightly different, ops model. What does that look like for you?
Absolutely. So at the Federal Coordinating Center, All of Us sits across the coordinating center here, and the government coordinates many large awards that are given out as extramural awards. And as we've grown the program starting around 2016 through 2020 into a proof of concept, the idea of the study was recruit 1 million people, bring in their electronic health record, bring in their biospecimens and survey data, and create a platform in the cloud that researchers can access the data. That first 4 or 5 years of the program was incredibly successful, very fast growth, and proof of concept that yes, we can make data available at scale in the cloud. Um, what we realized turning the corner at 5 years looking forward was what will the next 5 and 10 years look like? And the program went through a very thoughtful goal setting process and recognized that the coordinating center needed data and analytics support and capacity to build what that strategy would look like and attract partnerships and ancillary studies, which should be a huge part of our program going forward. So, the chief data officer role for All of Us sits in the office of the CEO and sits next to the chief financial officer and the chief operating officer because data and analytics are at the core of everything we do, and we make data-driven decisions every day in building the strategy of the program. So we, the Office of the CEO, help coordinate across divisions that oversee those external and extramural awards that execute the program. And so, again, it's different everywhere. This has been a role that's grown out of seeing a need and solving a problem, and being there to really deliver how data can help build the program and how the data not only deliver or how the program not only delivers data back for research, but also uses data internally as part of our fiber in strategic decision making.
Yeah, I love how you really underscored and emphasized that data and analytics really are at the forefront of all of your mission work. And you're really sitting at the table with the CTO and the CFO, you said, kind of driving some very core business decisions together. As you are at the table there managing these strategic decisions with your counterparts, Andrea, what are some main initiatives that you have in mind to partner with these other C-suite leaders? Are there maybe one or two examples that you could share with our audience that you're focused on where you're kind of bringing together shared agendas for the growth of all of us together?
Absolutely. So, one thing that we found an opportunity to do was to create the opportunity to perform driver projects. So, what driver projects are is after our data are released and in the cloud, our primary mission is that external researchers, whether that's academia, commercial organizations, or international researchers, they can all access data in the cloud for use. That's the primary use of primary outcome of our data. But we, the program, also need to be able to understand our data, both to be its own strongest critic and strongest advocate. So, driver projects are the opportunity for the coordinating center and people working within our consortium to ask questions of our research data that are available and create feedback into our strategic plans, including our scientific roadmap and the direction that we need to commit funds and find opportunities for partnerships. So, driver projects has been a place to say to my peers in leadership, as well as the rest of our coordinating center, we've created this wonderful resource. The majority of the discovery and scientific work will be done by external partners using the data, but we have to be able to access and use our data as well to be sure that we can inform the future of the study. So, driver projects have been a really great initiative, and we're looking forward to enhancing those in the future.
That's a great example. And Andrea, you touched a little bit on this, but where does data quality, data talent, and data literacy kind of fit into this broader mission that you just described? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. So I think that in any highly matrixed organization that doesn't have one organization delivering on an outcome, there are many different partners that we use to bring that research data set to life. And all of them have different understandings of data quality, whether it's how we prepare data and use it for operational needs, or how we prepare data for research needs, or how we return data to participants. Data quality touches all of those. And so, what we initially did was uh, take effort to develop a data quality framework so that many of those partners could look to the coordinating center and say, what do you care about? What are our responsibilities? And then help align across the contractual mechanisms we use to get work for the government and make sure that the appropriate parties across many different accounts and many different ways that we execute work have the same expectations, or at least this are working to the same standard on data quality, and that the roles and responsibilities associated with it are clear. And that really comes down to data governance and making sure that while the same data is our product, and that's really what's going into our platform, that we understand all of the different partners' roles, responsibilities, accountability, and responsibilities to really deliver on high quality data. So that's been a big leadership effort from our office, as well as many of the partners in coming together on what should data quality be and what's my role in it across a highly matrixed organization.
Yeah, you can touch on a really key point, like creating that standardization of what data quality means across the board is also so important. And you touched on data governance here. Is there a central data governance board that's kind of defining these high level policies? And is that something that you chair, or is that something which is a more of a federated, coordinated effort across the board in the program, or how's that situated for you?
We do. So our director of data governance, Nandita Raman, who's with us, has organized the data governance committee, and that data governance committee meets and is made up of the federal staff that oversee the program because they are who have the ultimate responsibility to fund and track milestones across many awards. So in our federal structure, we've used those federal employees who are overseeing the awards to look at data governance and how we make those things uniform and cohesive across mechanisms. Within beyond the data governance committee that we use across all the awards, We're also developing a system of data type working groups to make sure across the very matrixed organization, while expertise may lie in different places, we can bring people together for the same outcomes to really optimize across a certain data type, whether that's genomics or electronic health records or survey data. How can we all move towards the same goals in communicating our managed data portfolio? So, as the platform comes together, as the program comes together, that managed data portfolio should be the same picture that's given to both external researchers, participants, as well as potential partners.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And for everyone else in the audience, please continue to watch other interviews coming up and continue to follow the series. Thank you.